God first. Hey man, I finally did the hoodie and flannel combo. I'm wearing a white whole strength hoodie. It is a thin one. Let's chat about that in a second, okay? Because that's key point, that it is a thin hoodie by the brand Whole Strength. And then this flannel is by the brand Fall Creek. And it also does have a hood on the flannel, and it is the color black and it is the color gray. I figured it does make sense to start off doing this combo. So if it's my first time doing that combo officially, it totally makes sense to wear one that's gonna go with loads of pieces, one that's gonna be pretty easy to style, of course. Now let's talk about that hoodie again, because I did mention that it is a thin hoodie. So I figure, if I'm gonna do the hoodie and flannel combo, it makes a lot of sense to wear a thin hoodie and then a flannel over it, because it's gonna work. And let me show you with the jackets. Let's chat about that, okay? So yeah, how are you liking this combo? Good idea for when starting off? Would you wear would you do this combo a whole bunch? So a white hoodie with a black and gray flannel, or would it be a black hoodie and a black and gray flannel? Or would you do what I already said, which is where the colors are different? I do find that it's nice because the colors do have a contrast, but of course it does go really well because the color white goes with lots of pieces and the color black goes with lots of pieces. Yes, even though there is gray on the flannel, it still is going to have versatility, which is of course fantastic. And then including this particular jacket, this works for a wintry look. It can, at least. What I did was I did wear a scarf, but we were talking about layering with a flannel and hoodie and this leather jacket. So outside of this scarf, so scarf not included in what I'm talking about right now, at least. Now, I will talk about that really quickly. So it was a black scarf, so that makes the outfit even more exciting, but I do love a leather jacket. So leather jackets are always pretty exciting when throwing that type of jacket into the outfit. So this is not a thin jacket, so it made it work really well when it came to the flannel and hoodie combo. And on top of that, I wore a simple undershirt. It was not a tank top. It was just a simple white t-shirt. That's what I am wearing underneath the layers right now, actually. Just a basic white t-shirt, very simple and versatile, goes with lots of stuff. So with that being said, I was still, of course, able to do the flannel and hoodie combo. In addition to that, this jacket's, because this type of jacket goes with loads of pieces. So this is also another first. I haven't really officially worn this jacket yet. I have worn it in a video, I've worn it in pictures, but actually like worn it officially meaning where it's not just trying it on just for pictures. You gets the idea, dude. I was saying that this is not a thin jacket. I was alluding to the fact that it's not lightweight, basically. This is great if you are a fan of leather jackets like me. If you're not a fan of leather jackets, just like I am, then you could play around and maybe wear a denim jacket over the flannel and hoodie, and then that could work. I would suggest going for one with Sherpa because that is a warm option, but also keep in mind, go for an oversized denim jacket because denim jackets do tend to run small, actually. Ideally, with doing the hoodie and flannel combo, of course, I want to go with a jacket that's not a heavy winter jacket or heavy winter coat if I don't have to, because the hoodie and flannel combo, that is fantastic layering. Of course, it's fantastic layering on its own, but then, like, pick a jacket, whatever jacket you want. So for me, I obviously, of course, went for a leather jacket. A leather jacket is a favorite of mine. Let's chat about the jacket some more. So it does have the zipper details. See, I will possibly do a video on that, so I don't want to go super in detail. I could have just went for a simple leather jacket, and I think it's nice to go for a mix of different black leather jackets when doing the hoodie and flannel combination. I think another thing that could be kept in mind is if it's even colder, going for a heavyweight hoodie and then still including the flannel, of course. So then the hoodie and flannel combo could be done by me, and then of course, wear the leather jacket. Or if I do want to wear a different jacket instead of a leather jacket and I'm like, oh, I want to wear this other jacket, then I could do that. So the leather jacket and denim jacket, those are favorites of mine. So I think that would be interesting to play around with different outfits and different combinations with the flannels and hoodies and go with different looks. For me personally, this is when it's like 40-ish degrees. So that's kind of how it is. And that is pretty cold, but it's not like freezing cold. It is cold enough to, one, wear a puffer jacket, two, wear a different heavy winter coat / heavy winter jacket. Mine in specific is the London Fog Arctic jackets. That is the name. It is still technically a coat. That's what I would consider it. But third, instead, I could just be like, you know what? Let me do the hoodie and flannel combo and wear a non-super heavy jackets, because then I could just layer and then it works. Now, when do I think it is the best to do the hoodie and flannel combo? I honestly think it's the best when it is 40 with a super cool jacket that you are a fan of. I know for me, I did the hoodie and flannel combo with a super cool jacket over the flannel. Yeah, I think that there's just something about doing that, though. It makes it different. It's something unique. Growing up, I didn't really wear my outfits like that, where I'm like, well, it is the weather where typically it's shirts, hoodie, and winter coat, but it's like, you know what? I could just do shirt, hoodie, flannel, and then favorite jacket. You know what I mean? Winter coats can be pretty nice, though, so definitely keep that in mind. But if you are really loving the fall jackets, I know for me personally, I love the fall jackets, so that's definitely something to keep in mind. But winter coats are pretty sweet to wear, and I think it's cool mixing it up, you know? So there's that. As far as the flannel and hoodie combo goes, though, or hoodie and flannel combo, actually, the thing is that for the longest time, I was like, well, how do you wear that? What temperature does it work for? And I know for me personally, this is going to sound repetitive, I know, but it just makes a ton of sense to be like, you know what? I'm just going to do the hoodie and flannel combo in coat weather. It just makes a ton of sense, honestly, in my personal opinion. The thing for me is, it's like, well, it's a hoodie and flannel, but what about the jacket, you know? Because if I wear it when it's 40s, but without a jacket, that's still not including a jacket, and 40s is cold. 50s, it's like, I like to wear a shirt, hoodie, and jacket. I do like a shirt, flannel, and jacket, and that could work in the 50s, that could work in the 60s. So that's my thoughts on this, okay? Now, I do want to take a minute and say this. When wearing all four of those layers, it is harder to see all of the layers. Obviously, with a shirt, that's a different story. But the other layers, technically, so the other three. So hoodie, flannel, and jacket. Like, I know for me, I can't really see the flannel very well in this video. Now, a random question. Do you prefer hoodies or flannels? I personally think that that's tough, because I really like flannels, but whole strength makes fantastic hoodies and sweatshirts and crew necks. So I guess maybe I am leaning towards flannels. I like that they are casual, and it's fun to wear a jacket over it, because then the look is like really casual. As far as this jacket goes, even though it doesn't have Sherpa, it is still a pretty warm jacket, I would say. Not because of oversized, not that, but I mean, it's not a super thin jacket.